What is going on? Another edition of your favorite tradition. This is the Zach Moore podcast. I think this is going to be podcast 15 or 14, somewhere along those lines. Thank you so much for joining. This is yet another football episode. This one would be put out by the time you listen to this. It'll be before the games, so at least you'll have that. Last week I was kind of in a rush. I was busy all day Saturday, so. You know? Today I'm gonna come out a little bit easier, but let's just jump right into it. I kind of want to talk about last week. There were some, and if you did listen to the podcast, there were some things where I said where I wasn't too confident. The first one that sticks out to me is that Chiefs Colts game. I said to myself that I thought that the Chiefs would beat them by like 6, but I was like, the Colts, I wouldn't be too surprised if they do win the game. I didn't think that they would. I didn't think that it would be particularly close. I thought maybe it'd be about 5 or 6 points. Obviously, it was more than that. But I thought that line was pretty much right there. I thought the Chiefs were gonna just hook them, but I did think that there was a chance that the Colts could potentially come back. But that's kind of my first thing right off the board. I'm like, dang it, man. I really should have just had something going right there. But let's hop right in right here, right now. Just look at this. Lord knows what is going on right here. So, throughout the entirety of the week, I went 6 for 15. That's about 40% right here. Definitely by far my worst week. This in week one, sub 50, week one 46, 7 out of 15. This week 46 out of 15. So that second week I didn't bet, but I did pick the games. But Cowboys. I really liked this game. I really liked this bet +1 for the Cowboys. I thought that they were going to win the game outright. So if you're going to give me them uh as a dog with a point, I was fairly confident about that one, but that's kind of one of the ones where I felt confident and it worked out the way, but like many of these other ones, 49ers versus Broncos. I was pretty certain the 49ers were going to win this game. I didn't realize it would be such a low scoring affair, but I thought Jimmy G, I thought even though the Broncos are at home, I think they've really been struggling and I think they get embarrassed here. And then there's questions surrounding is Russell Wilson still the guy? But that is not what happened. The Broncos, uh, Russell Wilson was great late in that game, and that's kind of what saved them. Cardinals. 3.5 was way too much. Really do wish that I had chosen the Rams here, but I've always been, for whatever reason, I've been a huge fan of the Cardinals, and I've always pulled for the Cardinals. I've always said like they're gonna win the NFC West, but they have yet to show up right there. But that was that game. I think the Rams have really bounced back since that first game. I don't think they'll go back to the Super Bowl, but I definitely think they could win their division. Maybe, maybe. Buccaneers, this was a great game. This is one of my favorite games to watch. I mean, obviously, I didn't win my bet, but I really liked how the Buccaneers looked in this game. This is a big defensive battle, and the Packers just got off to a hot start, and they didn't really look back from there. Once again, another low scoring game, but I really like the Buccaneers. I thought -1. I took the Buccaneers. I thought Tom Brady prime time. He's gonna want to show out, and it's at home as well. So I was wrong on that one. Falcons. This is one where I wasn't too confident about it because I mean the Seahawks are kind of a I'm not too sure team. I don't know what I'm gonna get from Geno Smith, so I said Falcons. They might be able to lock down the the top target of whoever the Seahawks want to use, whether that's Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf. And I thought it was going to be a big running game. Um, and I'm proud of the Falcons for pulling out, getting getting themselves or getting me some well-earned cash. Chargers, this was the biggest upset of the weekend. Chargers minus 3.5. I thought going into this game, the Chargers were going to win this game possibly by like 10 or 15. I thought this was going to be an ugly game. Jags played their butts off offensively and defensively. They were terrific. Trevor Lawrence is looking like that guy. Christian Kirk looks like a great pickup for them. They're looking really good. Even though they did lose Laviska Shenault, they still have a great receiving core. Eagles. I thought that this game, and luckily I did, thought this game would be a big blowout. I think the Eagles are by far the best team in their division and quite possibly the entire conference. They've looked fantastic thus far. Who knows if down the line that changes or anything? But coming into this game, I was like, there's you could put this at 10, and I'm taking the Eagles. So very happy for that one. Vikings minus 6.5. Yeah, this is way too much points for the Vikings. I was stupid to do this. This was one of the ones where I really do regret it. As soon as watching the game too, and just seeing how good the Lions are playing, I was like, darn, I didn't expect them to do this good. But alas, they did, and they were terrific. Dolphins, 4.5. I really like this. This was I thought the Dolphins could win the game. I was like, they've been playing out of their minds. They got a great defense. I think they'll be able to contain Stephon Diggs relatively well. And that's kind of what they did. They were able to, when Buffalo would take a shot, they would be able to answer right back. And also late in the game, critical mistakes by Buffalo. And that's what ultimately cost the game. It's a very close game down to the wire. I thought that punt and the safety was going to ultimately allow for the Bills to get back in that game and win it. And I would lose my bet, but they did not. Raiders minus 1.5. Yeah, I didn't expect this. I really thought that the Raiders would be able to win this game, but they actually lost this game, and the Titans looked fairly good, even though they did have injury concerns, which is my big thing going into the game. I didn't know how they were going to look offensively. So that was another one where I was just flat out wrong. I chose the wrong team to have a good performance. Ravens, this was a really fun game to watch because it was so much scoring. But Lamar Jackson looked fantastic. Oh, let me log back in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me stop the share right here while I put in my password. There we go. All right. I'm sorry about that. That is unfortunate. All right, let's go back. Let's see what we got going on. Sports betting isn't allowed. Okay, that is a-okay with me. All right, we're back. Where were we? Let's hope we don't get blocked or something. All right. Ravens game. Fun game. I think Lamar Jackson, potential MVP candidate. Glad that there was this game. I really thought that Patriots would struggle offensively, but they were able to make some plays. Mac Jones looks all right, even though he did get injured in the game. Saints Panthers. I think this was the first game that I picked. And I think at the time I said, look, the Panthers need to win at least one game. They've had what, 9 straight losses with Matt Rule. This is one of those games where I think that they have to win. And after saying that, I still chose the Saints. Saints lost this game outright, and the Panthers are back into the win column. Chiefs, like I said, didn't see I did, but I also didn't see this one coming. I thought that the Colts could ultimately cover the spread, maybe win, but I feel like I could keep flip-flopping here because I chose the Chiefs and I felt fairly confident that it could blow them out. But then also, I don't know. I like Frank Reich. I think the Colts just are just missing a few pieces. They got to get healthy again. But they played a terrific game against the Chiefs. Defensively, it was amazing, making Patrick Mahomes look human. Great job by them. Texans. I really liked this game. It was a really good game to witness because I think the Texans are not going to be the worst team in the league this year. Uh, I like this one, even though it was um the Texans did lose. It was still by 3, so I still got my bet. But I am not mad about that at all. And the Jets versus Bengals, this was another stupid one that I did. I should have known that the Bengals were going to finally start catching their groove after pretty much 2 weeks of bad performances, that this was going to be the week against a much inferior opponent, that they were not only going to play fantastic on offense, but defensively be able to shut down Joe Flacco. So that's my bad, and I definitely regret choosing that. But that is last week, and now let's go to this week. Let me open up the FanDuel Sportsbook on my own phone, and let me see what I can do. All right. All sports, NFL. All right. All sports. Let me go to all sports. NFL. All right. All right. All right. Sorry about this. Me too. I know this is just fantastic. I'm just depositing money into my account so that I have enough to actually gamble. Let's hope this week I can actually come out with a positive, you know? Because that's kind of what I look for in in some of these. Just look to not lose all the money. Even if I break even, that's fine. I just want to keep this coasting, you know? And that's kind of what I want to do, right? Because that's one of the things that that I dislike about betting is that you're on these major highs and these major lows. But it does force me to actually have a much deeper interest in the games. So we got all of our bets. All right. Sunday. Ooh, the morning game. Vikings Saints. I believe this is the one that's in what is it? London. So Vikings -3.5 versus the Saints. Let's get a preview of these two teams. Vikings Saints going to be at 9:30 a.m. The Vikings cooled off in their last game. Kirk Cousins on a prime time is something I'm not gonna want to see really. But on the other side, what is Jameis Winston gonna look like? Marcus Davenport, that's good. Alvin Kamara, that's good to see. Limited, even that is good to see. But you look at the rest here, limited, a lot of limiteds for a lot of their players, and that's something I'm not liking. However, with that being said, ooh, the Saints are 0-3 versus the spread. That is not a good sign. They're 1-1 on the road, so that's not terrible, but they are coming off a bad loss against the Panthers, a game that they shouldn't have lost, so they do have some motivation coming into this game to say, "Hey, we got to get right." And I do think that the secondary, if all of these people who are injured are able to come back and actually play. Marcus May, fantastic safety. Obviously, you would want a Michael Thomas, a Jameis Winston, a Alvin Kamara to play in this game as well. But I'm gonna take the Vikings here, 3.5 points. I would like to see possible 3-point loss by the Saints, but and also the over under for FanDuel is 41.5. So they expect it to be a low scoring game, and I think this could be like a 17-20 type of game. So with that being said, I'm gonna take the Vikings here. Let me bet $1 on the Vikings to win 95. All right, there we go. As you can see, first bet is placed of the weekend. Vikings favored by 3.5. All right, next up is Titans Colts. Titans Colts. Let me see if I can find this one. Tennessee versus Indianapolis. Colts are 1-1-1 versus the 1-2 Titans. Colts are favored by 3.5. Um, I feel very, 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 very hesitant on this one. I am not too certain about what the Titans really do well. I thought they'd be a great run team, but as you can see, they're 21st in the NFL in rushing yards per game, and I mean they just lost um, their offensive tackle for the year, Taylor Lewan, which is just a devastating loss for them. Jonathan Taylor, another person to look out for, possibly not going to play in this game. Um, Overall, I do like what the Titans did last weekend. I thought they played obviously I didn't choose for them to win against the Raiders, but I thought that they played well against the Raiders, thought they were able to score points. Brian Tannehill, as bad as he looks, he was able to pull out a win. Oh, with that being said, I do like the plus 3.5 for the Titans. I think I am gonna go with the Titans here plus 3.5. I'm kind of liking their chances right here. All right, to win 87 cents. All right, that second one is plopped in. All right, next one, Bears Giants. This is going to be, where is this going to be? The Bears and the Giants. Right off the bat, I think I'm gonna take the Giants here. Let me see how much the Giants are favored. Giants favored by 3 points. So, my big question is two very bad quarterbacks in this game. Justin Fields only 45 pass attempts, 297 yards. Definitely not what you want to see going into week four of the NFL season. Um, but with that being said, I am not too sure what to think of this right here. Roquan Smith and David Montgomery. That's not what you want to see. Um, with that being said, I do like what the Giants have been doing. I mean, offensively, Saquon Barkley has looked to be their best player on offense, which is something you would expect and you would hope for him coming off of that injury. Um, I do think that the defense for the Giants is going to have to step up in this game if they are going to want to play the Bears because I mean the over under is 39.5. I don't think either of these teams are going to score 40 or 20, I mean. So I don't know. I do think that the Giants will ultimately win this game. So I'm gonna go with the Giants -3 right here. I'm gonna take that and the points. I place $1 bet. That bet is placed. Moving on, moving on. Bills Ravens. I see that one right here. This is going to be interesting, interesting, interesting. Bills favored by 3 on here. Yes, they are. Bills are favored by 3. I think this is going to be a revenge game for Josh Allen. I think he's going to want to go off the charts and go completely insane. And also this defense for the Bills is fantastic, especially at rushing the passer. They're really, really good. Got a good secondary as well. Um, Von Miller, he'll probably play. Ed Oliver, I definitely want him to play. Jordan Phillips as well. Jordan Poyer, limited. Definitely don't like to see that, but let's hope that he plays. Gabe Davis, if you remember in that first game, it was either the first or the second game of the season. He really helped the team out, and he was fairly good. I think it might have been that Monday night football game. That's the one I might be thinking of. But with that being said, I like the Bills here. Um, I think that they'll win the game, but -3 against the Ravens, I don't know. I think I'm gonna take the Ravens here. Maybe they pull out a win. But I think this is gonna be like a great quarterback duel, so I'm gonna take the Ravens right here. Ravens are done. On to the next one. All right, Chargers, Texans. I want to see what the line on this one is. Because this line is going to be, I assume that it's going to be fairly large. 5 for the Chargers. Chargers are 5. I mean, you look at points scored, 16th for the Chargers to 26 for Houston. And then you look at defense, points allowed, Chargers are 29th versus Houston, who is 12th. Now the Chargers have played some good people. Uh, Justin Herbert kind of injured last week. Let's hope that moving forward he's going to be fully healthy and he's going to be able to perform. Um, I am not too sure how he's going to perform. I do think that 5.5 points is a lot. But for this, I do think I'm gonna have to take the Chargers in this one, even though 5.5 is a lot of points. I still feel like the Chargers are gonna want to bounce back, so I'm gonna bet $1 on the Chargers right here, as you can see. There's that one. I do think I do feel confident about that one. That might be the biggest line of the weekend. Next up, Seahawks on the road in Detroit. This is going to be a very interesting game. Lions are favored by 3.5. This is one where I actually think that the luck for the Lions, even though they are 1-2, they have played good. They have played good. I just, I just think the Seahawks, as bad of a team that they are, I still think that they can be okay. I mean, you look at Detroit in terms of their rushing yards per game, they've been absolutely fantastic. There has to be one game where they don't run for 170 yards in a game. I just don't. And I think this is going to be one of those games where you see just how average of a quarterback Jared Goff, I almost said Jared Allen, but Jared Goff is as a quarterback. For this one, I'm going to take the Seahawks +3.5 here. I got faith in the Seahawks. I most likely will be regretting this. There it is, right there. $1 on the Seahawks. Jets, Steelers. I'm going to be at on site for this game doing the pregame show. So I will be able to see in person the very expected um bad game that this is most likely going to be. Steelers -3.5. It's at home. Steelers really need to start putting points on the board. 41.5, I like that over under right there. I don't think that's a terrible over under. However, 3.5 is just too much. Too much points for the Steelers. I'm going to take the Jets here +3.5. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to win by 4 points. I just don't see it. I'm going to take the Jets here at +3.5. All right. Next up, Jags and Philadelphia. All right. Eagles are favored by 6.5. I think this is going to be a quarterback battle. I think this game could be a shootout. I do like this over under right here, 45. I think this could be a 27-22 type of game, something like that, 21-27. I do think the Eagles are going to win, but I'm going to take the Jags plus 6.5. Let's see if something crazy happens. All right. That bet is put in there. I do think this is going to be a big quarterback battle. And for that reason, I do like Trevor Lawrence's options right there. All right. Next up is Cleveland at the Falcons. Browns are favored by 1.5 right here. I love this because let's go down here. Defensive rush yards per game, 15th for Atlanta. They're a much better run defense than they are pass defense. They do have some phenomenal players on their defensive line as well, which I like. Now, key factor for this game, Myles Garrett, I believe he is not going to play. I believe he is not going to play. So that's going to be a huge issue for the Browns defense. And also, I mean, if I scroll down here, you can see Amari Cooper did not play in practice due to rest. Jadeveon Clowney did not play in practice, ankle. Joe Bitonio did not practice, bicep. Denzel Ward did not practice, back. Jeremiah Owusu Koromora did not practice, groin. Ronnie Harrison, he was a full participant with a hamstring. So a lot of their top players on defense, I don't feel are going to be 100% going into this game. Not many players are going into week 4, but with that being said, I just don't trust the Browns, and I think the Falcons could squeak out a win here. So I'm going to take the Falcons plus 1.5, even with their rush defense where it is. I mean, you got to be like a top 5 rush defense in order to beat the Browns, but I do feel like offensively, the Falcons will be able to get some things going. So I'm going to put $1 on the Falcons plus 1.5. You can see right there. All right. Commanders at the Cowboys. Let's see what the Cowboys are. -3 right here. Um, yeah, okay. Carson Wentz surprisingly has not played terribly if you look at the statistical numbers, but if you look at the wins and loss column, not too bad, not too shabby. And the number one wide receiver for the Cowboys is Noah Brown as well. Interesting fact right there. Uh, FanDuel, Commanders are a 3-point dog here. I think that this is going to be a close game. I think the Commanders are going to be able to defensively kind of play fairly well. But I just think that the secondary for the Cowboys will be able to pick off Carson Wentz once, maybe twice, and that'll be the key thing in the game. So I'm gonna take the uh the Cowboys -3 right here. Gonna put $1 down on them. I think they could do 3. Boom, right there. Moving on next. Cardinals at Panthers. Now this is an insane line that I'm seeing. On here actually. Whoa. On on Pro Football Reference, they have the Panthers favored 1.5. I wish I could get that line. Oh, I would love to get that line. A lot of injuries over the um for the Cardinals. A lot of big time injuries. But with that being said, you're gonna give me the Cardinals -1.5. I think they could win this game by 3 or more points. Give me the Cardinals here -1.5, $1 down. Boom. That bet is put in. That's an easy choice for me. Of course, in the future, I'll be proven wrong. All right, coming up next, we got who is up next? Denver versus Raiders. I think the Raiders, yeah, I think the Raiders will win this game. Uh, minus 2.5 here on FanDuel. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I think they could win this game by 3 points. I think that the Broncos are in a weird situation right now, but I do think that the Raiders might win this game. I think it'll be a fairly close game. But I could see them winning um via a field goal or something like that. But I don't know. Do they go 0-4 to start the year? Do you think? Or is it a close game where they kick a field goal at the end and they get up by one? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the Broncos plus 2.5. Maybe Russell Wilson can win this game. Or if not, they come real close. So Broncos plus 2.5 is what I'm taking. Patriots, Packers. This will be an actually a pretty interesting game to watch defensively, and the Packers are favored by 9.5. Oh, uh. Well, here's the thing for the Packers. Obviously, they're the much better team. I think they'll win this game, but you're very seldom gonna have me do the Packers here. But Brian Hoyer is gonna be the quarterback for the Patriots. Now, the over-under for this game is 39.5. But with that being said, I gotta take the pack. 9.5 is so many points. So many points. But I think the Packers are one of the best teams in the NFC. So I'm gonna take the Packers here. -1. That's a lot of points. A lot of points, but I think the Packers can cover. I think they can cover. Oh, that's one where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel nervous. I feel nervous, but the pick is in. Pick is in. All right. Chiefs, Bucks. This is going to be a really good game. Chiefs are favored. Oh, Chiefs are favored on Pro Football Reference by one, but on FanDuel, the Buccaneers are favored by one. Ah, this is another one where it could go either way. Either way, man. Um, I don't know. The Bucks should be getting their number one wide receiver back, or possibly their number one A type guy in Mike Evans. So that's something that you would definitely like to see. Um, Chris Godwin was limited. Akeem Hicks did not practice. Julio Jones was limited as well. Brashad Perriman. Both Jones and Perriman had knee issues, so that is something to look out for. But I do like the Chiefs. If you're gonna give me the Chiefs +1, I'm gonna take it. I think that they can win a shootout against the Buccaneers. I'm liking where the Chiefs are at. Give me one right there. Boom, that bet is put in place. Rams 49ers. The final game, right? San Francisco. Levi Stadium. 49ers favored 1.5 points. Oh, give me the Rams. Give me the Rams. Why are they favored in this game? Is there something that's going on that I'm not um yeah, I don't know what we're looking at for this one. Why would you favor the 49ers? Give me the Rams +1.5. That is the easiest choice I've ever had in my life. Rams +1.5. Locked in. Locked in. And that's the weekend. Oh, A lot of times with these, I get so freaking nervous, man. So nervous. And I think what I do is I look at, okay, what am I looking at right now? It's not looking good, is what I can say. But with that being said, uh, follow along with me. Reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me on Instagram, however you want to do it, and let me know how I did with my picks. I really, every time that I do this, I get so nervous. I get so nervous because I second guess myself. That's the thing. But you can't really see the label from here, but right here, right in that corner. What is that? What is that? That's Dewar's White Label Scotch whiskey. I haven't drank in a while on this podcast. Because usually I do episodes kind of middle of the day, early morning. I try to. And sometimes I do it at night like I am right now. Kind of all over the place, but it's it's what life is, you know? You can't be on time for everything. You also can't do things on time every time. You also can't do things at the right time every time. The time is now. Time is money. You know what I mean? Folks, I just let me go over some of these bets where I feel very nervous, right? Very nervous about this Chiefs bet. Plus one. I don't know. I don't like the plus one or minus ones. 'Cause those are tough. Those are tough. I usually don't see a lot of those working out. Obviously, last week, Packers, Bucks definitely didn't work out. Another one that I am not confident in is the Packers minus 9.5. That is a lot of points to give the Packers. A lot. And yeah, the Patriots are missing their quarterback. But defensively, I think they could do something. But I think the Packers defense is gonna absolutely have a heyday. That Patriots offensive line is gonna have a tough time. Broncos plus 2.5. This is one I feel fairly confident about. But that but it's like yeah, it's because I think the Broncos are gonna win. Another one, Falcons plus 1.5. If they're able to stop the running game of the Browns, I think that they could have real success in this game. And then offensively, I need a good performance from the Falcons. I need a good performance right here, and I think that they'll defensively be able to hold the running game of the Browns. But I'm not sure. This is one I feel kind of about. Jags plus 6.5. I don't think that they're gonna get blown out, but I don't know. 6.5 is a lot of points. Gives me a lot of room with the Jags, but still, they could easily get blown out. Jets plus 3.5. I just think this is gonna be a close game. Both of these teams, specifically the Steelers, good defense, bad offense. Jets, they're kind of so-so with either, but I would choose their offense over their defense. So far through the year, they've played well, but Zach Wilson's going to be back. Who knows how good he's going to be? So I kind of took a gamble and I was like, let's say the Jets. Maybe the Jets lose by 3, and I'd win the bet. Um, Seahawks plus 3.5. I think this is another one where I'm like, I don't know. Because the lines up to this point in the season have been a phenomenal. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been one of, if not the best running back on their team. With the football in his hands, he's the best on their team. And I think that maybe after this weekend, that kind of stops. Um, and I think they kind of hit a low point. Obviously, like I said before, they don't have the best record, but they've been playing fantastically. They played really good football. Um, But I do think that the Seahawks could potentially make this a close game. I'm not sure if they win, but 3.5 points is like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Chargers, Rams, feel very confident about that bet. -5.5 versus the Texans. I'll take that. Uh, one of the biggest ones, Ravens +3. I don't know. I don't know if they'll get blown out. It's going to be Josh Allen revenge. He's going to want to send a message to people, but Lamar Jackson's really good. Really good. I could see Lamar throwing 350 yards easy in this game. I see it. I see it. Um, and then another one would be the Vikings. Definitely the Vikings. That's one where I look back and I'm like, I don't know what they're going to be on prime time. Like both of these teams, I don't know when the last time they went to London. I don't know. And Kirk Cousins in primetime games, not the best, but Justin Jefferson and that defense I trust. I trust Justin Jefferson much more than I trust the defense, but I trust them both. Both more than I trust Kirk Cousins. But that's another one where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Let me know where I went right, where I went wrong. If you're watching this years in the future, you can tell me as well. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. I'm gonna have more content coming out soon. Stay by, stick around, and thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen. Um, I've told my wife this, and I really do believe this. This is doing sitting down and talking just is something that I enjoy doing, being able to do this and just kind of spill my thoughts out. I'm not a savant, or I'm not really, I know I'm not terribly good at this, but I enjoy doing it. I have fun doing that. I do hope to get more guests on in the future, trying to branch out in different topics. Um, but I really do appreciate even if it's one person who watches this, greatly appreciate it. And I love doing this. I'm going to continue doing it, but can't say thank you enough for those who have already listened to it. I mean, I have a video with I have a couple of videos with like over 5 views, which is crazy. Crazy, crazy. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you would take the time out to even listen to, even if you click on it accidentally and you listen for 30 seconds and you get bored. I really do appreciate you taking the time out to come listen to me talk about stupid stuff, and maybe some of the things that I find interesting, you find interesting as well. And I hope that you can get some form of entertainment out of the stuff that I do. And I hope that when I'm on episode 2000 of this show, maybe I'll be able to have some cool guests on, have some great conversations, kind of talk about where I come from, my ideology, talk about what I think about the world and kind of things that I find interesting. Have people on like college professors and that kind of stuff. I'm definitely going to reach out to people, try and get those kind of people on, because there are some conversations that I do feel like are worth having that I don't see a lot of other people in the podcast space talking about. Mass extinction events. Fantastically interesting. Not fantastic, although many could argue that without these mass extinction events, I'm not recording this podcast right now. So I'm definitely grateful that that happened. But with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the show. Um, if you want to, you can leave a like, you can subscribe, you can send me a DM or whatever. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your days if you're watching this in the morning, or enjoy the rest of your night if you're watching this at night. Peace out, people. Thank you.